Hi, welcome to Radio Kidnappers, Voice of Hawke's Bay. I'm Gail and I am a psychic, noetic scientist, channeler, medium, many things in the intuitive and spiritual field. So today, midway through the month, guys, just a couple of things. If you're feeling anxious, anytime you're feeling anxious, this is a little tip that I picked up. Give it a go. If you're feeling anxious right now, roll your eyes up as if you're looking at the ceiling, like right above your head, and then just tip your head back all the way, and that just releases stress, anxiety. Try it. It's very simple, but it works. So you might have to do that a lot during the day, but you know, it's something that can actually relieve that pressure for you. So we're in September, and there are a couple of things this month I'd like to mention. I did say at the beginning of the month with the cards for the month that this was about right actions, doing the right thing to the best of your ability in a way that you know is you'd have a clear conscience, that you know that you couldn't have done any more or any better. This is the month to do those things, because anything that you do that is knowingly adverse or hurtful to somebody else will have negative effects in your life, and we all need positive things, especially with, you know, the lockdown and all that kind of stuff. So this is how you can make it easier and better for yourself. There is a little saying, and that kind of relates to this month, and it says that knowing others is wisdom, knowing yourself is enlightenment. So if you're looking for enlightenment, know yourself. And we've talked about the 4 parts of ourselves, which is our physical, character, behaviours, personality. We've got the emotional side of ourselves, which is full of our memories and our experiences and everything that affects us as triggers on a day-to-day basis. We have talked about our mental thinking that has been constructed from our parents, teachers, society, from the time we were very small, having an influence on how we perceive the world and how we think and what we believe. And then we have a soul body that is a collection of our ancestors' woes, troubles, pleasures, joys, and successes. And if your soul is troubled, it kind of sits and squirms away. And sometimes it's troubled because of something that you've done recently or something that you haven't done, and it'll kind of niggle away at you to kind of like do something about it. If you're feeling any of that this month, please just go and do what you can to alleviate that niggle. Do what you can to make things right, or see a person, talk to them, clarify something if it needs to be clarified, put your point of view across so that they understand and that you know they understand. All kinds of things like that are really helpful this month. And one of the subjects of the month is to do with higher learning. And higher learning is spirituality, it is philosophy, it is religion in the essence of religion. If you have never had any religious background, I invite you to learn about many religious backgrounds and see what the basis and the similarity and the commonality is between all of them, because they do share those basic truths, values, and the most basic one is love. It's not the human love, it is the love of all, in spite of what a person looks like, what a person does, what a person's actions are. It's not loving their behaviour ever, if it is inappropriate. It is loving them in their trueness of self, their spiritual aspect that is not coping with their human environment and their human circumstances. It's very difficult, I understand. But if you can look at a person as not their behaviour, it helps you to look past their behaviour and see that it's coming generally from a place of fear. Anger comes from fear. Sadness comes from fear. Depression comes from fear turned inside us. So everything is based on how we deal with life, how we cope with life. And seriously, we all know that we don't cope at times. So none of us is different. We all have our challenges and we all have our experiences. So never please feel like you are alone, because guaranteed you talk to enough people and you will see that they are sharing or have shared the exact similar experience of feeling, of emotion, or reaction that you have. And that's kind of like what joins us together and keeps us connected with each other. Spirituality, which is kind of the theme of September, spirituality is the essence of you. So you know you're a good person, right? Sometimes you don't maybe do the right things, or you maybe mess things up because you approach things in a way that other person doesn't understand, but essentially you mean to do well. And it's just that is your essence. That is your true self, by the way. That it is not your human successes and failures that determine and define you. It is your inner sense of what you want to do, contribute, what you care about, what your prime motivations really are. And they can be covered up by all kinds of experiences that you've had in your life, but you can uncover those. The way to do that is you seek a connection with something that's larger than yourself. That is spirituality. So something larger than yourself. So for me, when I was growing up, it was God, because I was brought up in a religion that was a bit different to other religions. It was not a cult, it was an absolute religion, but it had the healing component that Jesus had in the Bible, which at the time I was growing up, no other religion incorporated, because it was Jesus' territory, not for the common man. And yet we have, and we know that we have the abilities within us to do many, many things we never knew we could do. You just look at the generations that precede us and look at our generation and what's achieved now that wasn't achieved back then. It just shows you our evolution, our growing awareness of ourself, our true identity. So to be spiritual is to have a sense of something, someone, if you like, being God, a universal consciousness, a big factory in the sky. I often refer to a power station, like where the batteries, but something that is bigger than you, and whatever your word for it is the correct word. Whatever resonates with you is perfect, because that helps you feel that you can get through things. It feels you can call on help and assistance from thin air, I was told to tell everybody that has no grounding in spirituality. Thin air, that you can talk to just nothingness, to air, to whatever you want, but you are still connecting with a greater source of intelligence, energy, than you yourself and human beings. And it's interesting when you do that, how things happen in your life, how things change for you in your life. If you have a desire for your life to improve, and if you have an idea of how you would like it to improve, that is what you focus on. It is difficult when you have that human component where people have said, oh, you don't deserve this, or you can't do that. If you get past that and go, well, why not? I'd like to, and just focus on what you would like to have in your life. We call it manifesting these days. If you want to manifest something in your life, all you need to do is to have a desire, a wish. They are the most powerful. If you want and you need it, you will always want and need it. That is kind of like the simple mathematics of it. A wish we don't ever expect to be granted. A desire comes from something that we want that others don't necessarily know we want for ourselves, and therefore it's selfish. So therefore, again, it is not always something that we believe possible for ourselves. But that's number one in creating and having a more positive life and a happier life. So the need and the wish and the desire are the key number one things. And then it's about putting it into some solid form. So you take it from thin air and you put it into a solid form. The easiest one is writing, maybe texting or just scripting it down. That is the easiest way to make it happen. Look at your wording, because your wording is really, really important. Always make it present tense, please. I have in the past done this, and I'll share it. Some of you know already, but when I was requesting my life partner, and I always say you need a school exercise book and you need 3 full pages of individual requirements that you want in your kind of like what you see as your absolute partner, your divinely perfect partner, the male version or female version of yourself. You write down all those list of things. I did this, and I met someone who I did not think was the type of person for me at all. The universe put them into my house, so I couldn't really escape. I needed the rent to help pay the rent, so therefore it was a situation that I couldn't avoid, which normally I would have. And it kind of carried on from there, but every attribute that I had written on my list, he met that over time. By the way, it was over several years, let's just say a couple of years at first. The one thing that I had written, misworded, was that he had money, or that he had to have had money, something like that. So guess what? Before he actually moved in to share the rent, so that was before we had a relationship, he had gotten rid of his money because he had decided he was just going to wander the planet. So he had money. So it was correct and it was true, but the wording would have been better if I had said has money. Anywho, so wording present tense, if you're wording anything down. The next thing is to just pretend like it's going to happen and you'll see it someday, or it'll happen someday, and then kind of just forget about it if you like. But just kind of like, you know how you just wander around to see there's a car coming, or you know that no one's going to run you over on the footpath, which happens these days. Just casually walk around your world like that, and guarantee, like absolutely. I never promised my children anything. I never guaranteed them anything because life is so changeable. But I guarantee you, if you put something out with wish and desire, there will be things that match it. Sometimes they'll make you laugh and they'll go, "Are you kidding me?" Like seriously, because it'll be a fake thing or a that's not really what I meant. An example of that would be if you asked for I don't know why I'm seeing a football field. Got no idea who would ask for a football field. But anyway, something to do with football, okay? Maybe going to see a football game. And then you just happen to be in front of a TV or around somebody who kept talking about football in that particular game, but it's not getting you there where you really wanted to be watching it. Then you reword it, okay? There is this thing, if you're not used to it, by the way, that if you're going, well, I'm just going to test this out and see if it's real, that sometimes it will partly manifest and drive you bonkers, but it'll be like, are you sure this is what you want? Or it'll just be saying, see, it can happen, you just need to manifest a little bit better, or say a few more things, or believe it. If you believe it, it will happen. There's one trueness in life, and that is your life matches your beliefs about your life. Your beliefs about what you deserve matches what you get in life. And I know you can say, I deserve better than this. 100% you do. But do you really believe it, and would you really do what you needed to do to give it to yourself? Because that's the proof in the pudding. So we're talking about maybe doing some kind of good deed as well this month, more like a random act of kindness. All of those will go down well in your feeling of peace, wellness and well-being. Anything that you do that helps somebody else or even helps yourself, if you've not done anything for yourself that is purely indulgent or purely because you feel you deserve it or you wish it, if you've never done that, please start practicing right now. And, you know, we've been in those really tight situations where there's a lot of pressure on us in different kinds of ways. So now it's about time. Look at Auckland, you're getting out and about takeaways. I saw they were lined up from midnight. It's not so much about the food. It's about the ability to be able to go somewhere and get the food without needing to cook it and it tasting really nice. So, yeah, if you were lined up at midnight for takeaways, well done. You were really looking out for yourself and saying that you deserve good things. So we want to kind of start practicing that a little bit more for September. Just to look at yourself, look at your improvements that you can make to yourself and your personality, character, your actions, the way that you view other people, other communities. There is nothing ever that you will lose if you give generously of yourself, of your spirit, of your kindness. All of that will come back to you triple-fold, at least triple-fold. So, yeah, this is probably for the rest of September a good time to just see what happens. Be the best version of yourself, and in a tight situation, instead of reacting, take the high road. Be the big person. Be the person that does back down if it's going to avoid, accelerating a situation, because it will do you more service than others. You're doing it for yourself, so it's not harmful or hurtful to you. And I don't know, you can be proud of that. I just get, okay, so what is that backing down? Is that saying I'm not worth what I'm standing up for? And it's not that at all. It's saying I'm worth not having to fight this hard for it. Okay? So, I don't know. Perspective is on looking for anything that is outside yourself that connects you to a greater good, a greater power, a greater connection with other people. Everything is about humanity as well this month, and it's all of humanity. We know why. It's great because we can see it in front of us, and that is because of the changes in the world. It's because of COVID. It's because of a lot of other things that are happening in our new world that is this year. So, if there's a question for you about religion versus spirituality, or religion and spirituality, I just want you to think about religion in the fact that it has got a specific kind of set of, I won't say rules, let's just say organised beliefs. So it's structured, and it was made for good purposes way back in time, to give people something other than their ordinary everyday life to believe in, look up to aspire to become, a better person. Spirituality is you as a person seeking your the best version of you, seeking more awareness. And for any of you, and the meaning of connection, so you don't feel alone, because a lot of us kind of feel like we're on our own, but you are never alone, ever alone. I've spent a lot of time in my life feeling like it's just me in the world, but I've never been alone. There is always, like I said, I've talked to God. Well, I just talk, and I get things come into my head. So I feel like I'm in a lot of company all the time. And yeah, that connection's really important anyway, to identify with your spirit. If you have been through any trauma in your life, if you have been through COVID like we've been going through and you've gone, there's got to be more to life than this. If you are afraid and if you are thinking, where are we going, what is happening? This is a time to actually seek something else, to seek something you can hold on to. Spirituality is an anchor. So religion absolutely has its place. If you have never been to a church and you want to experience what that may be like, go to several churches. Go to see what fits. You'll meet people that you have never met before, and that's an advantage. If you know people that do go to a church, just go along. That's your easy road to everyday life having a difference in the middle of your everyday life. If you are seeking more spiritual enlightenment yourself, then you look to yourself for that spiritual side of yourself, that essence of yourself, the trueness of who you are, who you know you are. And I promise you, there is richness, there is peace, there is a sense of well-being, and there is a sense of feeling safe in all of that. So on that note, have an awesome rest of the month. We will see you at the beginning of October. If you want to contact me for a face-to-face reading, 027 4166 545. And I have a workshop on the 3rd of October for palmistry if you are interested in learning about the lines on your palm that can tell you the story of your life and who you are also. So if you want to know more about yourself, contact me and I can give you a lot of different clues, especially if you're a bit lost in life at the moment. Namaste. Take care.